Howdy, this is Pell Rider, and I'm back with another tutorial. This one on how to make your own UHC world. As you can see, I'm standing in front of a Bedrock Wall here. This is the map that we used on Van Freedom's UHC 14, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to be making a brand new one today for UHC 16. So there's 4 major steps in doing this. Unless you're using 8.1 or above, you can cut that down to 3 steps. I'm going to do an overlay here of showing you the steps, and I'll get into them in more detail as we go on. First one is, well, actually this is not a step, but you need to figure this out before you start, whether you're going to use 1.710 or below or 1.8 or above. That matters on the wall, mostly just the wall or the world border. World border, there is some, in 1.8 or above, there are some bugs, and one of them is this hunger bug. I'm not sure how to go about getting rid of that. They just came out with a new version as of right before I started doing this, 1.8.4, and they might have fixed the hunger bug. I'm not sure about that, but we're going to do UHC 16 in 1.710 just to make sure. So 1.8 or above, you're using a world border, and 1.710 or below, you're using a bedrock wall. So that makes a big difference. Okay, the steps, the main steps are finding your map. Then the second step is generating your land, the area that you're going to play in, pre-generating the whole area. Okay, step 3, if you're using 1.710 or below, is making the bedrock wall. And then finally, step 4 is this, what I'm standing on top of here, or flying above right here, is setting your command blocks to get the game set up and make it work right. So I will be back in a minute with Amidst, which is a program that I use to try to find a good map. So I'm back, and I really can't tell if this is working or not because the frame overlay from Fraps is not showing up in this program. I'm sure I've used this before, so I'm hoping it works. Your first step in using Amidst is you go to File, go to New, and then go from Random Seed, and it will generate a random seed on your map. And I also put this in full screen mode so that I can see better. Now I want to zoom in to an area a little bit bigger than the size of the map that I'm using. I'm going to be, oh, and center it on 0. I'm going to be using a 1200 by 1200 map, so that'd be all the way out to 600 in each direction, which the top and bottom is going to be the only part that's going to matter here because it's wider than it is tall. So about where my cursor arrow is right there. So I need to zoom in a little more, a little more, a little more. Okay. Whoop. Get 0, 0 a little higher. And zoom out just a hair. Okay. So I got the area where I want it. Now what I'm looking for is, the first thing I'm looking for is the least amount of water possible in this area. This has too much water, for one thing. Also, I want to look at the different biomes. All biomes are cool. It's good though to have a pretty open biome at 0, 0. I like to do that at least. Some people don't like it real hilly or a lot of forests at 0, 0. To me, it really doesn't matter, but a lot of people don't like it. So I'm looking for more of a flatter area, hopefully a plains around 0, 0. and I want an even dispersal of apple dropping trees around the whole map. That way everybody has an even chance of getting apples. So this map sucks. So you go, if you look at go to file and go to new, if you look at it, it says hit Control R for a random seed. So from here on, I'll just be hitting Control R because I'm going to take a quick look at this map, each map. This one has a big water area to the right and to the bottom, so I don't want that. So I'm going to hit Control R until I find one without water. There, no water at all in here. If you look in the right upper right corner, it'll tell you what biome you're in when you move the cursor around. 00 is in a forest. Like I said, a lot of people don't like that, so I'm going to look for either a desert or plains or something at 00. So this one's not going to do. So Control R, too much water, too much water, too much water, way too much water. Okay, here we go again. Too much forest, too much water. This can go on for quite a while. You just keep hitting Control R until you find something halfway decent. Roofed forest, no. I'll be back when I find a pretty decent one. All right, yeah, I'm back. I just forgot to show you one thing. Under options, is it under options? No, under map. Layers. Each one of these is a toggle. You can toggle this off and on, say slime chunks, and it shows you where all the slime chunks are. Villages, whoops, dang it, villages, show you where all the villages are. Let me turn off the slime chunks, that's way too much. Slime chunks, okay, there we go. You can see the villages. There's a couple villages on this map. Strongholds, witch huts. If you were in the nether forest or fortresses, so there's all the strongholds. I turn all these off because I'm making the map and I don't want to have a better advantage than anybody else. So I turn all this off. The only one that I actually leave is the spawn location. That doesn't matter a whole lot because I changed the spawn location to 00 at the beginning of the game. But just to let you know, if you don't want an unfair advantage at the start of the game, if you're making the map and you're actually going to play on this map too, you might want to turn these off because otherwise that's just not right. Okay, I'll be right back when I find a map. I've been doing this for about 20 minutes already, so it might take a few. All right, I'm back, and I think I got a good map this time. Okay, first thing, at 00, there is a plains. It's surrounded by a forest and a jungle, kind of, but the actual 00 is on a plains, and there's still plains to the left and the right of it. This one, I didn't mention before, but it does have a jungle. A lot of people like to have at least a little bit of jungle in their maps because of a nether rush or something like that. They might want to find melons to get. Was melons for strength? I think it's for strength 1. No, it's for health potions, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, they want to have a jungle so that they can make health potions. And if you also look, we have this big jungle here. We also have forests in most of the areas that's going to be on the map. There's a little bit of taiga, which doesn't have oak trees. So nobody could find apples there, but you can find oak in jungles, you can find oak in forests, you can find oak in swamps, you can find oak in roofed forests and Is there any savannas? I don't see any savannas, but you can find them in savannas also. You can find them in most biomes. Even plains usually have a little bit of forest throughout the plains. And extreme hills. There is some oak trees in extreme hills. So this is a pretty decent map. So now what you want to do is either write down the seed number that's up here in the upper left corner, or you can go to map and then copy seed to clipboard. That's what I like to do. Just click on that. And I'm just going to turn off Fraps for a minute and close out this program, and I'll be right back when I get to Minecraft. All right, I'm back, and I'm in Minecraft at the main menu, and from here you go to single player and create new world. Wait, let me go back a second. Yeah, okay, create new world. I'm going to name this VF underscore. I do the underscore for the server console. It doesn't like spaces. UHC 16. Okay, keep it in survival mode and then go to more world options. Okay, in the seed, I'm going to cut, I copied to the clipboard, so I should have the seed here. That's the seed that I found. If you wrote it down, you just type it in here. I'm just pasting it. I want cheats, allow cheats on. The command blocks will not work if you don't do that step. You won't be able to manipulate your world at all. Well, I guess you can if you're opt, but the command blocks still won't work. While I don't even know. I don't think you can actually mess with it at all in single player with, yeah, in single player you can't, I'm pretty sure you can't do anything without the cheats on. Okay, I'm going to leave the world type as default, bonus chests off, structures on. Without the structures on, you won't get any villages or temples or anything like that, which you really do want in UHC, if possible, for them to generate. It gives people extra things to look forward to. Okay, so I got everything here, got everything there. Just hit create new world. This will usually take a second. I will suggest when you do this, okay, I doing this, like I said, in 1.710. I using Optifine. As you can tell on the bottom right down there, it says a new version of Optifine is found. I have an older version of Optifine on here, but I suggest you use Optifine. And game mode 1. Okay, get into creative. So yeah, see, if you notice, I'm right at the edge of a plains area. So this is a pretty good location for like the final battles and stuff in this plains area. Well, I don't want to see that. I just saw something that I wasn't supposed to. Okay, you don't want to look around too much, because if you're actually playing in the UHC yourself, like I said before, you don't want an unfair advantage. So I try not to look at the area, the terrain, too much. So what I want to do now is the second step is generate the entire map. All right, I'm back, and I've already got started on rendering the map. This is the second step in the process. Let me go to the next area. What I'm doing is I'm going in a grid pattern from one corner of the map to the other. I started out at, my map is going to be 1200 by 1200. So I started out at 600X, 600Z, and I'm going in a grid pattern every 300 every 300 blocks. If you could look back in my history here, I went from 600, 600, well, actually 600, 128, 600. Then I went to 600, 128, 300, 600, 128, 0. Now I'm at 600, 128 minus 299, which is actually 300. I typed in 300, but it goes a half down for some reason. So I'm going to do that, continue this all the way through the map, all the way until I get to minus 600, minus 600. I'm letting each area, set of chunks generate or render until it's completely rendered. I do that by, in F3 mode, looking at the top left-hand corner where it says Minecraft 1.7.10. The FPS and the chunk updates. I did a lot of this from trial and error, but I've learned some of this when I did this. This is my 16th UHC that I'm actually creating the map on. And I did a lot of these mini UHCs. I think 5 or 6 of those. So I've did this quite a few times, and from trial and error, I've learned a lot of this. But the initial map that I made, the very first map that I made, before I made it, I watched 5 or 6 different videos. One of them was Seth Bling from Minecraft, and I watched some other ones that I'm not sure exactly who they were. The Seth Bling one, I learned more about doing what I'm doing right now, and the amidst part, I learned that from watching his video. The command block part of it is a lot of trial and error, and I found some information in some of the other videos that I watched. Seth Bling didn't go over that part too much. So this part, what he said is, if you look at the FPS and you look at the chunk updates, when the FPS is consistently about twice as much as the chunk updates, then this area is pretty much rendered in. Right now, since I'm recording, my FPS is stuck at 30 without, well, it's staying right around 30. When I turn the video off, the recording off, it goes way up to like, 100 or so. So I'm trying to get my chunk updates down consistently below probably about 20, and then I'll be good. Yeah, if I didn't explain this before, I'm going to explain it now. There's 2 main reasons why we want to render in the entire map before we start. The first one is, the main one, is that it will cut down on lag tremendously if you have everything rendered before the game starts. If you don't, and say you have 16 people or 10 different teams, or however many people, all spread all over the map all at once at the beginning of the game, even after rendering, you're going to get a little bit of lag. When people first start playing, chopping wood, you get a little bit of block lag and stuff like that, depending on how good your server is. But without rendering it in first, it's going to be hell. You're going to have so much block lag, it's not even funny. And during the game, every time somebody's exploring a new area, because there'll be quite a few people exploring areas all at once throughout the whole game, you're going to get quite a bit of lag while the areas that they're exploring are rendering in. The second reason, and to some maybe more important than the first reason, is that if you're going to be using 1.710 or below, you need to put in a Bedrock Wall. And to put in a Bedrock Wall, the easiest way to do that is using an editing program like MC Edit or World Edit. And I'm not sure about World Edit. I've never used it, but with MC Edit, you need to render in the entire map before you put the wall in. I don't think you can actually put the wall in without that area being rendered. So you go around the complete border at least and render in all the area that you're putting in the border in. All right, I'm back and I'm finished rendering the map. I have it rendered all the way to past 600. Well, I was right on the border of 600 in each direction, and so it rendered out past that 600, probably a couple hundred in each direction past 600, which is just right. I'm back at 0, 0, as you can see on there. The next the last two steps is to build the wall, the Bedrock Wall, and to make a platform that holds the command blocks. And you can build the platform from scratch, but I already have it from past UHCs, and so I just like to copy and paste it over. So what I'll do is get a block, say something that, let's just get that, and I'll go to 0, 0, and I'll go straight up. Okay, you can actually put this platform at different locations. I've tried it over the last 16 UHCs in a lot of different locations, and I started out putting it outside of the outside of the Bedrock Wall, but you have to set the spawn point outside of the Bedrock Wall that way, and sometimes it leads to problems. For some reason, sometimes things don't spawn right. The command blocks don't work right. It just led to a lot of problems. So what I did is after that I dug down to bedrock at 0, 0 and built a room down there, and that worked all right. But you can't have people spawning underground. When they first initially spawn in a map, they always spawn at the highest point at a certain X and Z location. So I figured the best way to do this, after trial and error and a lot of sweat, what I realized is the best way to do this is go straight up from 0, 0 and build a platform almost at build height. I'm right now at 235, and that's perfect. You have to make a pillar because, you can, if you're just going to build it from scratch, you just build it, you have to make a pillar anyway, and then you just build it here. I'm using MC Edit to copy and paste it over, and I need some kind of anchor to paste it to. So I built this pillar, and the pillar will go, I'll bust the pillar off after I'm done. So I got the pillar. It's going to be way up there, so you just gotta just tell people it's against the rules for them to go all the way up there and mess with that. Most likely they won't anyway. Hopefully they won't, and they'll get disqualified if they do. That's all there is to it. So there's only one problem with building a platform way up there, is that this area directly underneath the platform, the light levels are going to be a little bit messed up, so it's possible that they can spawn mobs even in the daylight. So that's not that bad though. You'll see it when I'm completely done. I'll show you the light levels. All right, so I'm gonna go into MC Edit and I'll be right back.